What's up, guys? How we doing today? Hope y'all are doing fantastic. So the U.S. and China are ready to start talks over trade war this week. That's what we're going to talk about today. Stay tuned. It's going to be awesome. All right. So U.S. and China to start talks over trade war this week. And this is coming from the BBC. So take that with what you want, but articles coming from the BBC. U.S. and China officials are set to start talks this week to try to de-escalate a trade war between the world's two biggest economies. Chinese Vice Premier He Living will attend the talks in Switzerland from 9 to 12 of May. China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs says. U.S. Treasury Scott Bassent and U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer will represent Washington at the meeting, their officials announced. Sorry, it's kind of early. My eyes are kind of like still trying to get open, so I'm having a hard time, but we'll get it. Since returning to the White House, President Donald Trump has imposed new import taxes on Chinese goods of up to 145%. Beijing has hit back with levies on some goods from the U.S. of 125%. The global trade experts have told the BBC that they expect negotiations to take several months. It will be the first high-level interaction between the two countries since Chinese Vice President Jing attended Trump's inauguration in January. Mr. Bassent said he looked forward to rebalancing the international economic system to better serve the interests of the United States. My sense is that this will be about de-escalating, not about being the big trade deal. But we've got to de-escalate before we can move forward, he said in an interview with Fox News. If the United States wants to resolve the issue through negotiations, it must face up to the serious negative impacts of unilateral tariffs measures on itself and of the world, a Chinese Commerce Ministry spokesperson said on Wednesday morning. Chinese state media reported that Beijing has decided to engage with the U.S. after fully considering global expectations, the country's interest, and appeals from American businesses. The report added that China's is open to talks, but reiterated that if the country decides to continue to fight this trade war, it will fight to the end. The war has triggered turmoil in financial markets and sent shockwaves across global trade. Two trade experts told the BBC that they were not particularly optimistic about the talks, at least in the initial phase. You have to start somewhere. I'm not saying this isn't worthwhile, just unlikely to be the launch event people are hoping to see, said Deborah Elms, head of the trade policy at Heinrich Foundation. We should expect to see a lot of back and forth. Isn't that what negotiation is? a little back and forth, because obviously, you know, that's what negotiation is, and that's what Trump's been trying to do is negotiate better deals. And sometimes you gotta, okay, here you go. You gotta put that hammer down to get them to come to the negotiation tables. I mean, yeah, it's not gonna be like 10 minutes of back and forth. It's gonna be a lot of give and take. That's what it is, and but it's gonna be the best of both sides is what it should be. It's not just one sided like it's been for the past how many decades. It's all been China's coming out on top, and not the United States. We should expect to see a lot of back and forth, just like what happened last time in 2018. Henry Gao, professor of law at Singapore Management University, and a former Chinese lawyer in the World Trade Organization Secretariat said, I would expect the talks to drag on for several months or even more than a year. Financial markets in the Asian Pacific region were mixed after the announcements while the stock futures rose. While the U.S. stock futures rose. Stock futures are contracts to buy or sell an underlying asset at a future date and are indication of how the market will trade when they open. Investors are also waiting for the U.S. Central Bank to make its latest announcement on interest rates on Wednesday afternoon. Yeah, so, I mean, it's at least a start, and a lot of people have been saying, oh, these tariffs are not, I mean, yeah, tariffs, they're not good. I mean, but I guess it depends on how you look at it, but these tariffs we've been getting pounded on and pounded on and pounded on by the Chinese. They've been coming out on top for too many decades. It's like, can't even count the years. And a lot of these companies, even some of these other companies like from Canada and some of these other companies that we've issued tariffs and some of these companies decided that they're not going to bring their products to the United States anymore. I think that's worse for the company than just paying the stupid tariff, just taking the hit on the tariff. And a lot of people say, and I'm not saying this is false, but it's going to come back on the consumer. We the ones that have to pay for it. So it's like getting taxed extra. Yes and no. Yes, it will technically to some degree. But once we have a choice to buy the stuff. We don't necessarily have to buy from a place that's jacking up the price. So that's kind of what it's for. It's to if they want to jack their price up and make extra money, to take it out on the consumer, so that these big corporations don't have to. Well, we have a choice not to buy from them. We've seen that plenty of times in this country. Is if any little teeny thing happens, somebody says something, somebody says whatever, all of a sudden a whole group of people aren't going to buy from that company anymore. So if the tariffs go up and it causes consumer prices to jack up even more than the tariffs are, then we quit buying from them and we start buying from somebody that doesn't overcharge for the tariffs. And then that's kind of how it works. And then it incentivizes these people to start lowering their prices, and it causes negotiations. And that's what Trump's trying to do. Is he's using these tariffs as for one, to get some of this money back that we've been getting screwed out of for several decades, and to start getting them to come to the negotiating table. Eventually these other countries are going to fold. I mean, whether you say it, oh, it's going to kill our economy, it's going to jack our prices up, is it really? I mean, seriously, is it really going to jack them up that much? And if it does, it hasn't been like It hasn't really affected. It affected our stock market a little bit at first, but now our stock market's climbing back up again. It's been going. It's been going back up. It's like everybody said it was. It was just a short little thing. Everybody panicked. Everybody was, oh, our stock market's crashing. It didn't crash that. It didn't go down that much. It went down, but it didn't go down that much. And now it's starting to climb up again. Our economy's getting better. And overall, our gas prices are going down. Our egg prices are going down. Our grocery prices are going down. Our inflation's going down. So are these tariffs really going to cause that much of a big deal? Some products that people buy may go up. You may have to pay more for some things, but the things we buy on a consistent, regular basis, the things that we have to survive, they're going down. Gas prices are going down. I mean, we don't necessarily have to have gas, but food, groceries are starting to come. They may not have just like dropped a dramatic amount, but they've dropped. They're coming down in price. You can tell. Some of the imported stuff, maybe it's not going to come down. And like I said, some of your products you may have to pay more for. But you've got to think about, I guess, do I really need that? Is that something that I can't live without? Or is it something that I might be willing to pay a little more for to get, for a better economy? You sacrifice one for the good of the whole. If you have to pay more for a few items of some companies that want to profit off of this tariff, because, well, now they're charging us 50 cents more per unit. We're going to charge $1 more per unit. Who's really the bad guy? Is it Trump's tariffs, or is it the guy that's or is it the business that's actually profiting off of these things? Because that's what's going to happen. Trump's going to add a 50-cent tariff to every unit that comes in, and that company's going to charge an extra $1 per unit for everything. So they're profiting that an extra 50 cents per unit on, and then they're going to blame it on Trump. Then they're going to blame it on Trump. Well, he's the one that jacked our price up, not, and then they're going to be profiting millions and millions and millions of dollars off of these tariffs. And you're going to try and say that Trump is the bad one here. I mean, he's just getting these companies to come back to the United States and produce jobs here. And it could be argued that, yeah, they're horrible jobs. Nobody wants to work them. People will work them. People will work those jobs. Especially if you quit giving so much free handouts from us taxpayers to just give them all this money just because, I think if you're physically able to have a job, you shouldn't get any government assistance, period. How about that? You should have a job. Or at least have a job, and then depending on how much you make, then you can get some government assistance. I mean, if you're physically disabled, or you can't physically go out and hold certain jobs, then that's different. I mean, if you physically can do it, if you can physically go out and get a job to support yourself, then you shouldn't get any government assistance at all, period. Especially if you're not going to work. If you do work, if you can and do and still are struggling, then maybe. Then yeah, the government should help. But that's going to incentivize a lot of people to get off their butts and go work. But right now it's just like, oh, okay, here you go. Here, have some money. You don't make a lot of money. Here you go. And they just won't work because the government just supports them and pays for everything, and that's going to keep people from these jobs. So it's kind of a double thing, and that's something that the Dems have been doing forever, and then the Republicans have too. I don't mind helping people, but they need to help themselves first, and I need to help myself first. That's the thing. Last time I tried getting government assistance, I pretty much got laughed at. And I struggle. I'm the only one with a job in my house with 5 kids at home now. We've lost one to college and to the real world. But I'm the only one that makes a paycheck. My wife physically can't keep jobs because she has some medical issues, so she physically can't do it. And I applied for some assistance, and They threw that back at me before I could even hand it to them. So, which, whatever, don't care. Good. I'd rather take care of myself anyway. I'd rather not have to rely on that. I mean, I do get some Social Security from my wife dying for the kids, some survivor benefits, but that's pennies. But I'm just saying, it's if if you're willing to sacrifice a couple of items that willing to pay a little bit more for these couple things, to pay a lot less, to pay less for everything else, I'd say let's do it. I mean, it's they're just jacking their prices up to make a point. That's what they're doing. They're just trying to make it to somehow make Trump look like the bad guy for doing this. But the thing is the Democrats, you've heard Obama say it, you've heard both Clintons say it time and time again, you've heard Biden say it, you've heard Pelosi say it, you've heard Schumer say it, that tariffs are a good thing. We need more tariffs. We need to tariff these countries equally. We need reciprocal tariffs. We need, we've been losing the trade battle for years and years, and we need to negotiate better deals. And then the second Trump says that, almost word for word, all of a sudden he's the devil himself. The Dems have been saying it for years, and they've been getting standing ovations, and they've been getting cheered, and they've been getting, and then Trump comes in and says it and starts actually doing it, and he's the devil himself. So why is it, the Dems talk, and everybody's happy, and then somebody that just because you were told to not like him comes in and says it, and now all of a sudden he's the devil. He's Hitler. And don't get me started on the Hitler thing and the Nazi thing, but different topic, different video. And it's the same thing with the border. I mean, I'm off topic, but the Dems have been saying, Bill Clinton, Barack, they've all been saying this again, that, it's, our borders are so insecure. We need to tighten up them borders. We can't be having all these. And then Trump comes in and says it and does something about it. And now all of a sudden he's Satan. So it's just, why is it okay for one side to say it and everybody cheers and thinks that they're gods or whatever, think that they're, and then somebody else comes in and says it, that you guys were told to hate just because the TV told you to hate this person. Now all of a sudden he's the devil for saying the same exact things that the people you support have been saying it for years and years and years. It makes no sense. I mean, and then all of a sudden we're the bad guys. We're the evil ones. But anyway, tariffs, in my opinion, are necessary. Are they good? I don't know. That's to be. We could argue that all day long, that if they're good or not, or who's going to pay for them, or how's this going to work. But are they necessary? It's just like war. Sometimes war is necessary. It's not good by any means, and I don't support war. I don't support going out and killing innocent people. I don't, but sometimes war is necessary. And sometimes trade wars are necessary. Sometimes, when we've been taken advantage of, it's like the bully in school. You get bullied, and then once you finally stand up for yourself, the bully goes away. Moves on to the next person to bully. That bully's going to keep bullying you as long as you take it. Once you quit taking it and you stand up to that bully and you do something about it, they're going to back off. And that's what we've been doing. This country's been bullied for way too long. Way too long. We've been bullied. And anyway, that's pretty much all I got for today. Appreciate y'all. Do the YouTube stuff. It's, there's links below for how to support the channel if you feel like it. No pressure for any of that though. But there's my other YouTube channels. I'm trying to grow another channel to get it up and going. I'm up to almost about at the time of this recording, I'm at 400 subscribers or whatever. I'm trying to hit that 1,000 so we can get moving with that one too. It's kind of I'm funneling over a lot of my automotive repair and my small engine repair stuff over to that channel. trying to get that one up and going too. So if you wouldn't mind, if check that out and hit that subscribe button to that one and do the things. Again, there's whatever links down below that you feel like it, and always carry a gun or whatever weapon you can most legally carry, the most lethal tool you can use for self-defense that you can legally carry. If you can't carry a gun legally, then find the best thing you can and be aware of your situation. Always have, awareness of what's going on around you. Know your ways in and out. Notice people. Look, keep an eye out. Anyway, that's the video. Appreciate you. Love you. See you in the next one.